Good afternoon, Packers fans. Aaron Negler here with your Packers Daily Chat, coming to you live on the Cheesehead TV social channels. It is Friday. We finally made it to the weekend. The Packers are wrapping up a week of practice. 5 different dudes listed as questionable on the injury report, including Elton Jenkins and David Bakhtiari, who did both practice together today. So that's an encouraging sign. Alan Lazard seems to be in line to play. Christian Watson as well, though he has not been cleared officially from the concussion protocol. That's something that hopefully we'll get news on tomorrow. Devondre Campbell is indeed out, along with Shamar Jean Charles. Quay Walker going to be calling the defensive signals, gets the communication helmet, has been practicing with it all week. Going to be exciting to see what the rookie can do to bounce back from a very unfortunate night in Buffalo. Hopefully he comes out, has 20 tackles, a sack, and a fumble return for a touchdown. Hello to everybody in the comments section. Good to see everybody. Big B is here. What's up, Big B? Of course you're here. It's Jamal Williams week, baby. How you doing? I do hope Jamal shows up on Sunday, but just like not enough to help them win. How's that? Is that good? Can we go with that? I like it. Vex, thanks for the super chat. Drink every time Savage misses a tackle, sir. Sir. Why are you trying to attack my liver? No, sir. Let the kids play. Wide receiver 1, 2, 3, 4. Watson, Dobbs, Torrey, Rogers. I think Torrey will get more run this week, but if Lazard's back, he'll play. Like, there's no way they're letting the kids run over Lazard, but maybe he'll be on a pitch count because of the shoulder. I think regardless, you're going to need those young guys to step up 100%. Obviously, we saw really encouraging signs there in Buffalo. Hopefully that continues in Detroit. In my opinion, the Packers should just win. Seems pretty simple. Big B, I'm with you, man. 4 games in a row the Packers have lost. Man, that just doesn't happen around there. Like, what? I remember when they used to lose 3 an entire year. 4 in a row. I don't even know who I am anymore. Time to get a win, definitely. Ed, thanks for super chat. Did not think at this point that hope would be word for this season, but there it is, and it is there. Yeah, well, absolutely. The problem is the Packers have all the pressure on them in this game, and the Lions have none of it. Like, they have got to 100% be playing with house money. Dan Campbell's throwing guys under the bus there on his staff. They can't win a game. Their defense is historically bad. Like, and now the Packers are coming to town riding a 4-game losing streak. If there was ever a time that they could beat up on the big bad Packers, this is it. And I know they won last year in that building, but it was, the Packers pulled their starters. It was basically a preseason game. Didn't mean anything, etc. Now this is a real one that matters. They're going to be gunning for it. The Packers, I just hope they lean into the running game that they discovered on Sunday night. That's going to go a long way in making things a lot easier for everybody on offense. And that's what I think sometimes people kind of get twisted. When I talk about running Aaron Jones or getting Aaron Jones the football, either in the passing game or by handing it off to him, it's because it will help everybody else. And I'm talking everybody, the receivers, the offensive line, the quarterback, especially. Getting Aaron Jones going will make everything better on offense. 100%. I mean, if for no other reason than the offensive line, if you're an offensive lineman, what do you want to do more? Do you want to fire out of your stance and hit someone and punish somebody across from you? Or do you want to constantly be retreating 30, 40 times a game? And that's a real simple one. As far as the receivers, I mean, you talk about eliminating some of the traffic because the linebackers and the safeties are biting up because they're so worried about Aaron Jones. Now you've got a little bit extra room to operate. Safety help is non existent. Linebackers not clogging up those windows. Your job gets a little bit easier. The quarterback, I mean, you just go back and look at the play action stuff they were able to run back in 2020, all the stuff they married off of that running game. Open stuff up, man. Makes it easier for the quarterback. Makes it easier for the play caller, too. I just hope they lean into it. I really, really do. Dave, what's up? Thanks for the super chat. I feel like there's a chance that both Quay and Campbell are best suited as sole linebacker behind a penny front. It's a possibility. I mean, I know that certainly wasn't the, design that they were going with when they selected Quay to play alongside Devondre. Well, we'll see. Maybe we see a little glimpse of some of that on Sunday with Quay being the lone guy out there. Um, Now, whoever's around him is going to have to step up as well. I mean, it's all well and good for him to be making the calls and trying to run things down, etc. But man, if you don't get any support, I don't care if it's a backer, I don't care if it's a corner or a safety. Those guys have got to step up as well. Whether that's Ford off the bench, maybe Savage comes down in some kind of new hybrid role. Who knows? But whoever it is has got to ball out. Got to give him some support. M, what's up, man? Next game seems a decisive crossroad for our season. Yes, yes, it does. We were just talking about this on the radio with the guys, with Drew and KB. Man, you lose this game, it is over. Good night, Gracie. All over but the crying. And I know not mathematically, but the soul of this team will be so shallowed out. 5 losses in a row, the final one being to the Detroit Lions, who have the worst defense, not only in the league, but like historically bad. This is you talk about a get right game. This has got to be a get right game. But this is what I've been saying. Like the pressure's on the Packers in this game, 100%. But yes, you win this game, build a little something, get a little way of working. Hopefully, continue to find your way on offense. Maybe the grumblings from the defensive side of the ball get heard by upper management, so to speak, and they find a couple new wrinkles there on defense to let those guys play a little freer, a little looser, a little less thinking. Let's get to it, man. Menace, thanks for the super chat. Prediction, Nags, do we pick up Love's 5th year? I doubt it. I mean, it all depends on Rodgers. I mean, Rodgers is coming back, and I don't have any reason to think he won't. Yeah, I can't imagine they keep both of them on the roster. So, yeah, my hunch would be no. Can we turn Quay Walker into a running back? They have running backs to ignore already. They don't need another one. Come on now. Next week is Matt LaFleur versus Mike McCarthy at Lambeau Field. Thoughts? No thoughts. No thoughts about that game until that game is here. I'll have plenty to say next week. Right now, these Packers got to go 1-0 against the Detroit Lions. I have no thoughts about Mike and his squad, but I most certainly will next week. Why is Stokes looking worse than last year? That's a really good question, Maria. I think, part of it can be last year he did such a good job of like using the sideline as his help, and he seemed to, even when he got beat, be able to kind of stay steady, as in lean into his technique and not panic. And I haven't seen that a lot this year. And he's always going to. Here's the thing: he's always going to get targeted as long as Jair's out there, because you're not throwing at Jair if you can help it, if you're a quarterback. So Stokes, you're going to see, a lot of balls thrown your way, and you're going to get picked on, and you're going to get beat, and that happens to every corner in the NFL. That's just the way it is. Last year, the distribution of targets was probably a little wider because they didn't have Jair for much of the season. I do think the guys he's going to get targeted, and I do think some of it is just so weird how they sometimes kind of utilize their scheme as far as having these guys play so far off, especially early in the year. You saw the deep over route was just destroying this team, Stokes and everybody really, but Stokes in particular, because it takes away what I think is one of his big time attributes, which is his length and his ability to get his hands on a guy at the line of scrimmage. Now, you're not always going to stop them at the line or what have you. You're not going to get a great chuck. But you're going to throw off the timing a little bit, and you're going to have an opportunity to stick with your guy, as opposed to when you're playing like 7-8 yards off. Well, they get a head of steam, and then you've got to turn your hips to run with them, and then they're off to the races on that over route. They killed Stokes with that like 3 or 4 different times, 3 or 4 different teams. So I think, and once that got put on tape, teams are like, yes, please. So, they seem to have adjusted to that a little bit, and I think Stokes is going to hopefully reap the rewards there. But it's very interesting to me that they sat him for that series in Buffalo with little to no explanation. Haven't really talked about that much. I know Joe spoke yesterday, but prior to that, when you see Savage having so many, and I know that's more physical rather than mental when you're missing tackles, but yeah, Stokes, he is certainly not picking up where he left off last season. There's no doubt about that. What else we got? Is Campbell gonna break kneecaps? I hope not. What else we got? Oh, Trayson is in here with some Eagles overrated with their strength of schedule. The Texans made it a great game last night and believe they're 1-6-1. That's the NFL. That's why you can't take the Lions for granted. That's why I ain't worried about the Cowboys yet. You got to beat the Lions. The talent kind of discrepancy, if there is such a thing in the NFL, is so minuscule. Like, yes, there are great players that make a difference on a team, which is why it's been so fucking frustrating watching the Packers ignore Aaron Jones for half a season. But yeah, these teams in the NFL, they're too close in talent to ever be surprised by something like that. I mean, yes, you do think, if this is an undefeated team, what have you, they're going to probably be show some fight and they're going to, throw it down and whatever. They'll probably beat up on a team that doesn't have a lot of wins, but it's never a surprise to me when something like that happens. Just because, every team's got really good players. It's just some teams have great ones. And that's really the difference in the NFL. And then, of course, there's luck and there's the bounce of the ball and some stupid officiating, decision. That all plays into it. Which, hey, if you're a Packers fan, you obviously know that. I don't have to tell you. You saw Robert Tunyon's touchdown get wiped out last week on an absurd call. And the week before that, you saw a defensive touchdown get wiped out because of an absurd call on Stokes. So, that, and those are the razor thin margins, right? Now, sure, that wasn't the difference in the Bills game, but it certainly was a difference in the Washington game. And in the Bills game, it at least would have made the game, the tenor and context of that game, very, very different if that call doesn't get made. So that's the margin, It's very, very close in the NFL. Ryan, what's up? Thanks for the super chat. Packers need to start winning because I don't like noon games. The older fans don't want to return to the 70s and 80s. Yeah, they've had a bunch of nooners, haven't they, here in the middle of their schedule? Yeah, no, that's this one here on Sunday. I think, is that the last one? I think this is the last one. I can't remember for sure, but I hope so. I'm with you, man. I want to lay about a little bit. Give me that 4:25 start time. The night games, man, having to do watch party, the night games are rough because I'm in studio on the other side of town. It's a late night, but yeah, those 4:20s, that's good shit. Menace, thanks, man. Every loss sucks, but if you have one loss to choose from over the years, which, in your opinion, is the most heartbreaking? 2014 NFC Championship is my choice. I mean, that's the obvious one. It's that or losing the Super Bowl. Because let me tell you, there is nothing worse than losing a fucking Super Bowl. Man, yeah, the 2014 championship game is always going to be the most heartbreaking. But losing the Super Bowl is a close second, man. That sucked. That really sucked. Cheeto, thanks for the super chat. Can you do more videos after a couple of shots, please? Whoo, baby. Yeah, no, that's one time only. Single performance. Bill, thanks for the super chat. I get the feeling Matt LaFleur values being unpredictable more than most people. It appears to me we get too cute too often. Yeah, I don't know. It's funny because it wasn't I mean, obviously this wasn't you, Bill, but I seem to recall people saying that his offense was too simple at times, like last year throughout his tenure in Green Bay. And now they're trying to get creative, and I've heard this a little bit, like, oh, they're getting too cute. I just think my kind of estimation of getting too cute is just getting away from what works in running the football and getting the ball to Jones. That's getting too cute. Um, I think Matt's dealing with a lot. He's juggling a lot. And hell, even just the things I'm thinking of, there are probably 10 more that I don't even know about. But, um, I think there's a chance that, yeah, there is kind of what Aaron was probably alluding to the other week when he said we need to simplify. The simplest plays are the best plays. Aaron's said that forever. But at the same time, you can't be too rudimentary. You want it to be preseason football out there. These guys get paid to make sure they can move the football in new ways that aren't expected. I do wish he'd lean into some more kind of bread and butter calls, though. I'll give you that 100%. Are defensive players really unhappy with their coach? Callum, I trust what Rob reported. I trust that Rob spoke to the people he spoke to, and that is a very real sentiment within the locker room, within certain guys. I don't think it's widespread or anything like that. I don't think it's a mutiny on their hands, but I I trust Rob's reporting. That guys are frustrated. I have zero question on that. Dave, thanks to the super chat. I didn't want Packers to trade Rodgers, but in hindsight, I wish they either had both or neither of Rodgers and Adams. I hear you, and I've gotten this quite a bit actually over the last couple of weeks. I'm always going to be fascinated by the timing, right? Because I do recall someone, coming to me anonymously about the Adams trade being close, and I was just, even then, I was like, no, there's just no chance. I can't imagine they trade him away, given that they just re-signed Rodgers, and then of course they did. And I'm always going to be kind of fascinated by that turn, right? What those conversations were. How did they have those conversations with Aaron? And Aaron says he knew when he signed, but did he? I don't know, man. It's a fascinating moment in Packers history, no doubt. Most hated. Thanks for the super chat, man. Nags, you're the bomb. Thanks for all you do. That is really nice of you, man. Thank you, brother. Really appreciate it. Always good to see you on Happy Hour, man. What else we got, folks? Savage, Randall, Carroll, must likely or most likely to miss tackle commit penalties, quit on a team. Oh, damn. Woo, Ahmad Carroll can't be beat, man. Come on now. He's the champ in that regard. Oh, man. Fucking Greg Lewis. Happy Friday, Aaron. Love you. Love your show. Matt, it's really nice of you, brother. Breaking news, Packers fans are unhappy with the coaches. Yes, it is part of a routine, part of a tradition. When teams are losing, you're going to point the fingers, and they're usually at the coaches. Not surprising, given the subpar results. Can't really be too miffed at fans for being upset about it and putting it somewhere. Can't say I'm surprised. The Packers' window's closed when we re-signed Rodgers. That doesn't mean we can't crack the window back open, but it's going to take a lot of elbow grease to get it done. Tyler, that's a well thought out and written metaphor right there, buddy. Well done. Yeah, they got their work cut out for them. There's no doubt about it. I mean, I see people talking about going on a run like 2016, like run the table. Let's slow down and beat the Lions, okay? I mean, you talk about doing the work. That is doing the work. One game at a time. Go 1-0 this week. We'll be good. I like to think this will be their last win of the season. What are you? Are you a Vikings fan, Chris? I'm confused. I wish we had Edgar Bennett back as wide receivers coach. The rookies would definitely benefit from his teachings. Yeah, Brett. I mean, I thought he was a good wide receivers coach. I mean, he was no Jimmy Robinson. That was a wide receivers coach. But yeah, I think the young guys are doing just fine under the tutelage they're getting. I would not put much of the lack of production on the coaching staff there. I mean, these guys are getting opportunities and they're coming to the fore. I mean, just look at their performances on Sunday night in Buffalo. Hopefully, they start really kind of putting up some decent numbers here now because they're going to be required to go out there and make plays. Randall Cobb's not out there, so sounds like Lazard will be back, but I still think these young guys are going to be called on early and often Sunday, and they got to answer the bell and they got to produce big time. They lost a lot of coaching talent during the offseason. They did, Gary. That is very true. It was quite the brain drain, so to speak, between Hackett and Justin Outen going to Denver and then Getsy down to Chicago. It's a lot of offensive minds walking out your door. No question about it. Now, all that said, it ultimately, they got Don Clements back in the door, and they have, Matt and Aaron are still running the show, so to speak. It is on them. It is on the two of them to make it work. And as I said earlier this week about their quotes and needing to push the ball downfield and all that, I'm excited to see it, how they make it work. But as Steno said yesterday, just run the. I'm always going to be wanting to run the ball. That's my guy. Love you, Steno. All right, buddy. I'm gonna have to get going. I can't thank you guys enough for hanging out, talking Packers each and every day, Monday through Friday, right here on the Cheesehead TV social channels. Please do me a monster favor and hit like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and then tell your friends and tell your family. Cheesehead TV, we are devoted to Green Bay Packers fans worldwide. I'll see you all on Watch Party on Sunday. Can't wait. Let's go beat those Lions. Thanks a lot, everybody. Have a great weekend. Go Pack Go.